mean, you have any questions? It's gonna be fun.
I just trust that it'll be fun.
It's like, I mean, I'll tell you how many suggestions we have, and then you just pick a number.
Okay.
And then it's like, I mean, they're a lot of times it's like a mono scene, like real time, one scene. So, but if you want to jump around, I mean, it's pretty much however you want to spend the time. I'm down for.
Okay. We'll
Uh,
see. We'll see if I can remember to be positive.
well, listen,
I've
I don't
only been
care.
working on it for like a year.
I don't care whatever you want
Oh,
to do.
I know, but it's just like it's like one of my I just we'll see. We'll see.
We're gonna have fun. I don't know if I ever told you about my friend. Do you know John Hildreth?
I don't know him, but I know who he is. Yeah.
So he's great. And I remember I was on a panel once with him about like yes and I said, oh yeah, I was taught not to yes and evil. And then John, I mean, he's been improvising forever. He's like, I'll yes and evil. But he's like the perfect, I mean, he has no judgment when he plays and he's just super fun. But I always thought that was really funny. He's like, "I'll yes and that." Like, we have, let's see, let me check to see how many suggestions. Okay, we're on, and we have Mickey, pick a number 1 through 82.
What?
Yeah, that's
There are
right.
82 suggestions? No, that's from your last,
Nope.
that's from your last 10 minutes.
No, that's from the past hour.
Okay, 16.
All right, good old 60. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so this comes from, he's known as the mayor of improv. His name's Mark Turpin. And our suggestion is the Karma Police.
Karma Police.
The Karma Police. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. It's a 752-453 calling in for backup.
We got a 752-453 we're at Montana and Idaho right here requesting backup. Yeah.
I'm kind of, Joe.
Yeah.
I think my time, I'm nervous about this. I'm nervous about this.
Is your time up? Mickey?
I'm concerned. I've lived a life that's been really, really lucky. And I just know I'm going to go down on some kind of parking gig or license plate shit.
You think, I mean, we're not in the best area right now.
Yeah, well, I do this for thrills.
What?
72453. Have you read the codes?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to quiz me on them?
Yeah, what is 72453?
Oh, it's assault with an intent to harm.
Really?
Yeah, what'd you think it was?
I thought it was purple car without a license tag.
Oh, that's a 72454.
Oh, shit. Okay, all right. So you're telling me that we answered to 72453.
Yeah.
And
You were calling in a 72454.
I'm confused.
It's
I actually, yes. Can you like manifest what you're calling? Because
dispatch, this is one Adam 12. We got a 72453 and a 72454 requesting immediate backup.
Same vehicle.
Yeah, it's the same vehicle. It's the same vehicle. So requesting backup.
So have you ever had a problem when you've, like when we haven't been a partner? Have you ever had any like close calls? Like,
yeah, I got shot once. Yeah, I got shot in the neck. It was, oh my God, oh my God, it was responding to a call like this. I was responding to a 45 724, just like today. Oh my God, it was on this block too.
This is April Fool's. You are so making that up. I don't believe a word you're saying.
Listen, I wish I was joking. It happened just like, yeah, oh my God, it was it was 13 years ago today.
5 days ago.
No, it was on it's very confusing because it was on the 1st of April, but it wasn't an April Fool's joke. It actually happened. I got shot in the neck. Look.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's bleeding now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh God.
Like,
oh, and then once it bleeds, it doesn't stop.
Does it does it come out and bleed like an anniversary celebration?
It does. It does. It's like you know how some people, when it rains, they can tell in their bones, like they're like, oh, my knees hurt.
Right.
I can always tell it's the 1st of April because it starts bleeding.
Oh my God. You shouldn't wear white. You should definitely not wear your whites.
Talk to the commander about that.
I think he must know something. I really think he must do that on purpose, because this is a weird thing that we have to wear white out. Oh my gosh. Oh,
you know what? I'm gonna go ask that car for help.
Wait.
The one we're tailing.
I think that's a great idea. You should ask that car for help. Maybe they'll be able to call in a 72455.
I'll be right. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna ask.
All right. Okay.
Hello. Ow. Oh God. You're never gonna believe what happened. The other side, I got shot again. Oh no.
I thought it was my day.
Yeah, you knew it was somebody's day.
This is all April Fool's. That is fake. You just look at me. No, I am not going to do CPR on you. I am not going to do CPR.
Listen.
Do not look at me that way.
Listen. I want you to tell my wife I love her.
I am not going to tell your wife that you love her because it's not necessary.
I want you to take my kids to Little League practice. You make sure they grow up well protected.
But your kids are going to be perfectly well protected. You are going to be the one protecting them. Those 2 pints of blood on the ground right now is fake blood. It's fake blood. Come on.
Is it fake?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. I am positive. You come on. Okay. All right.
I'm starting to see the light.
You are. Oh my God. You are seeing the light.
I'm fading.
I see it too.
I'm starting to fade.
I am too.
I want you to call my mom and dad.
Okay.
And you got to tell them one thing. Their number is 708.
708.
I know you're not the best with numbers, so I'll try not to use it. It's 708 758 6584.
708 658.
No, 708.
708.
708 758 6584.
708
708 758 708 75
759.
No, 708
708
7 No, 758
758.
Yes, 708
708 758 1234.
No, say 584.
8584. 708
723 708
544
758
758
65
65
84.
708 6584.
No, 708
708
758
758 708 758 708 758. I got it.
6584 6584.
708.
Don't dial 708 758 6585. That's my ex, and she doesn't want to have anything.
Okay, so I got it. Do not dial 708 758 7565. Don't dial that.
708 758 6584.
584. Wait,
Call.
there's a missing number.
Call.
Come on, give me the missing number. Quick, quick, give me the missing number. Give it to me, please. 708. 708.
758
708. 758.
65
65. 65. 65.
84.
84. 708. 758. 6084.
Call it.
Call
Call
it. 708. 658. 7054. 5. 5. 7505.
Call it. Call it.
Okay, I did. And
Hello?
Clarissa?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I dialed the wrong number.
Oh, is this Sergeant Ricky Amalfi?
Yes, I'm Ricky. I'm Ricky. I'm your ex. I'm your ex's partner. Well, I used to be his partner.
Oh my God, did something happen?
Yeah, we had a 708 654. And
oh no, you know what that means?
I do. It means that your alimony isn't going to be coming this month.
That's true. You know what else? Oh man, I have to get my kids on. Hold on. They have to hear this from you.
Oh, okay. You mean I have to tell them about their dad?
What is it? Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Oh
Hi.
my God. You are,
Hi.
like, let's go on FaceTime because I
Okay.
really, oh, you are like the cutest little kids. You're
Hi.
the spitting image of your dad.
Hi. How is Dad?
Oh. He's fine.
Oh, okay.
April Fools. Okay, he's fine. And you look just like your dad.
Oh, something happened, didn't it?
I can't lie. Yes. And he's not going to be coming home.
Oh, you know what that means?
I don't know what it means to a little kid. So just go ahead and tell me what it means to a small child.
April Fools. We
April
got
Fools.
you. I got you.
Wait a minute. You really are. That's fake blood.
Yeah, I mean, the shot's real. Like I wanted to.
Is that guy an actor over there? Is that guy in the purple convertible an actor?
He's an actor.
You punked me.
Yeah, he's an actor, and I think he severed a main artery because I am feeling a little bit weak. But April Fools. Scene. Mickey, that dude is dead. He is going to be dead. That is an April Fool's prank gone wrong. He got actually shot.
By the actor in the
I have a lot of fun doing cop scenes. I think scenes on like stakeouts and stuff are super fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done one before.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a buddy, this guy Pete, and he's a Southside Chicago guy, and his like family are all cops. And any chance he can, he will enter a scene and pull. You'll be sitting in a chair, and you'll hear the cop siren. It's like weird, like you didn't even know you were in a car. It's
yeah.
But he's so good at it. It's so fun to watch him play because he knows all those numbers and the codes and all that stuff. So he's just a ball to play with.
Well, I made up the code, and in the middle of it, I was hoping I wasn't traumatizing anybody because of everything that's going on now.
Oh, but I mean, I don't. It's an April Fool's more than anything. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna think. I was like, okay, we're just being silly. I saw the numbers were fun. The numbers were really fun.
And that was actually my childhood phone number.
Was it really?
Because then I'm going to remember it. I just always use like my home address, my phone number. It's so much easier to use there.
But was that like your parents' phone number? Is that like your parents' real phone number? Like if we called that number, we'd really get them?
Not anymore. They're not around, but if it started out as 312 area code because it's in the south suburbs of Chicago. And then there was a big changeover to the 708. So then but we kept the same like other numbers. So it was 708, 758, 6584. That was my, until I was like 18, until I left the house, that was my phone number growing up.
Back when they used to publish them in a phone book with your address?
Yeah.
Do they still do that? Your address?
I don't know. I can't tell. When was it? I don't know the last time I got a book of yellow pages, like the phone book. I can't. I know it was delivered when we lived in Chicago. I know it was delivered there, but I never. It just they just like they just grew in our foyer. So like every year there'd be these phone books and nobody would ever take them.
Well, like I think they gave you notice that they were delivering, and then they would go through the neighborhood and put them. I mean, you know, that's kind of like 8-track tapes or something, you know, like, I mean, like it's gone. I mean, I'm sure there's still yellow pages, but
I don't know. I think a lot, like a lot of the magazines have gone digital. I feel like the phone books probably have as well.
oh, you know, like I think about it now, you know, like, I mean, you could go to anybody's house. You had to pay extra to be unlisted, right? So you could have a stalker or a serial killer that wanted to get, you know, they had your address right there.
They could get it. And you know what's funny is you could look up like celebrities' addresses and phone numbers back in the day.
Oh, I never lived in Los Angeles, so I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have. So they didn't want to pay. So you're telling me that they were cheap and they didn't want to pay to have an unlisted number?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think for a while it was like, oh no, come to my, like if you drove by their house, they might come out and wave and say it was a different time, but
it's April Fools. You're making that
no.
shit up.
Oh no, not at all. Like I didn't grow up in LA, but I know like a lot of times the number would be listed and it's like, oh yeah, look me up. I'm Jay Garland. And you're like, Judy Garland's number? And you'd go, yeah. Like, so I feel like until like the 60s for sure, a lot of numbers were published. And then it's like, oh, find me in the phone book. And also people would, you know, like parents of people in our generation would be like, oh, you want to be on TV? Just call them up, because that's what they used to do. They used to like just call up and go, hey, are you looking for a writer? And they go, come on down.
Oh, I was such a goody two shoes, but we did some mean things. And so I think like when the year I was in I don't know, I was in like 7th grade or 6th grade or something like that. I think the New York World's Fair was going on. And so we would we called people, we picked them out of the phone book, my friend and I. And you know, like the thing is your refrigerator running.
Yeah.
Well, we would tell them, you know, that we were calling from the New York World's Fair, and that we had Carlene Francis on the line. Sounded enough, I guess, like Arlene Francis, that people would like talk to us.
Oh my God.
For a little while, and then they'd be all excited. They would be so excited they're talking to a celebrity. And then we would ask them if their refrigerator was running, and if they said yes, of course they did, then we tell them they better touch it. But we were so afraid. I mean, it was this little tiny town. I mean, there probably weren't more than 50 people in the town, and we were so afraid that they'd figure out who we were, you know, by our voices and stuff. But we did it. I mean, we did it for a long time. We get bored like on a Saturday afternoon, and we just start making phone calls.
I mean, and you know, growing up in a small town, like for people that don't know, everybody knows everybody. And they could recognize, like, there is a chance they could recognize your voice because there aren't going to be that many people that age calling around.
Even more, okay? This was in a town. We had just moved from Florida to a town about 50 miles south of Atlanta. Can you imagine my voice matching in? My accent matching in? I mean, that was so stupid. I was like so stupid. I was probably the only Yankee sounding voice in a 5-mile radius.
Like, Hi, Mickey. We know it's you. I had a I I had a college roommate who would send a letter, and he would write mom and dad, Buckley, Illinois, no address, and send it. And because the post people would know it's his writing. So he wouldn't even put like the house number. He's just like mom and dad, Buckley, Illinois. And they would deliver it to his parents' house because they knew, oh, that's Phil.
That's so cute. That's so cute. I don't remember getting things like that. What I do remember this. This is like a little bit off, that my grandparents were from Michigan, actually directly across from Chicago, right in Michigan.
What part?
Holland, Michigan.
Oh, with the Tulip
Harbor, I
Festival.
guess, is the place that people would go on boats, but anyway.
They have a
So,
huge tulip festival.
yes, that was my birthday when that happens, and I used to think that was my birthday party.
Oh my God,
Wash
yes.
the streets and stuff. My I forgot what I was going to say now.
Small town.
Blah 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 blah. Oh well, the Tulip Festival. The Tulip Festival was. The Tulip Festival was really fun.
Well, it was that idea of like being in a small town and knowing everyone, and like, my like I said, my college roommate could just write mom and dad on an envelope, and then it would get to him because it was just such a small town. So you knew everybody, and you knew people's handwriting, and it's different. I mean, I guess it's safety for sure now, but like,
Yeah. Well, would you go over the question? Don't give me an April Fool's answer. Give me the truth. Can you think of a situation where you would be driving by and just drop in on someone
that I knew or not knew?
that you knew? Like, would you just like stop and go, here's Joe, I'm going to walk up to the door and say hi?
I think people get mad now if you just call them without texting. I think they're like, what are you doing, psycho? Why are you calling me?
It's so like, I mean, it's
I don't
so.
think so. I think if I would want them to know.
But when you were small,
Oh, all the time.
yeah, you just go over to people's houses, knock on the door. Is Joey home?
All the
Or hi,
time.
Sally, let's have some tea.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I mean, and I'm happy for people to come to my house, but nobody ever does.
Would you? Would you
Well, I
just
won't,
pop into
because I
someone?
invite people to drop by anytime, and nobody is rushing my door down. So I'm sort of like, I'm a little slow, but I'm not that slow. So no, I don't.
I don't even think, man, I don't even think I would go unannounced to my brother's
Really,
place.
I would
I
do that,
don't,
but that's because I want to annoy them.
well, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, is there anybody that I live near here that well, very few, but I think in general, I would be like, I'd want to call to make sure.
Right. So when did we make that transition? Because that, I
Cell
mean, that's
phones,
definitely a difference.
cell phones.
Yeah.
I think so. I think the age of the smartphone ushered that in. And then you're like, oh, I could just message. And then that became the norm. So the norm of popping over to say hi was now replaced by cell phones. Definitely an issue of like safety too, because you're like, well, what if it's somebody you kind of know? And then you're knocking at their door, they might be like, we kind of know each other. So I think it's different if you knew them. But even so, it's like, so I think with the advent of the smartphone and being able to message people, I think, it's the same thing. It was like, when did you write a letter last when it wasn't like necessary, or like a holiday card? When did you sit down and write a letter?
It was a holiday card, because I don't even do those. It was a thank you note. And it was a thank you note because I wanted to be mean. And I didn't want it to get there as soon as it would if I sent the
No.
time. But I wanted to be polite. So it was a passive aggressive.
Mickey, that's a lot of work.
It was. It took a lot. It felt good though. It felt good, and that was like once in, the last 5 years.
So when do you remember like the last letter you wrote? You know what I mean? That wasn't like a thank you or a holiday or a invite, like the last letter of just like, hey, what's going on?
Probably my mom
Yeah.
that passed away a couple of years ago because she liked getting letters,
Mm.
right? But it was a pain, and I could barely make it be a page,
Right.
right? I remember like being like in college, and I was an exchange student in Germany, and those
Yeah.
airmail
Yeah.
folder things.
Yeah.
And I write teeny tiny,
Oh,
so you could cram as much stuff on for the however much it cost. And that was also because my parents have said to me when I headed over to Germany for a year, they're like, well, we're really going to miss you. We hope you have a good time. Don't call.
because it was so expensive.
So
Remember
expensive.
that? My brother spent a year in Australia as an exchange student, and we talked on the phone once, and it was like a 15-minute call, and it was very, very. I remember it being so expensive at that time.
All my friends had permission to call their parents that year. Now, they
I
didn't
do.
do it like on a regular basis, but I think it happened at the post office. I think there were phones that you could do that transatlantic stuff. So
Yeah.
I would go with them, and I feel sorry for myself that my parents.
Oh my God! So you would
I
watch
talk to your
them.
mom.
You would sit and watch them talk to their parents. Oh no. Oh, Mickey. Oh. Uh, I think postcards are the best now because it's like you'd only have to fill out one side. You could just be like thinking of you, having fun. You don't have to write a ton. Like I love sending postcards now.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. Even that though, it's like I got something else in mind. If I do it like somebody that likes to collect stamps, and I'm really going out of my way to do something special for them. I honestly don't see. I think that it's junk mail that keeps the post office going.
Oh, for sure. And they made a silly decision a few years ago to for me to make these forever stamps where it's like you can use these stamps at any time. It's like, well, it brought cash in, but now it's like you're not making any more money. And I got a whole bunch of those forever stamps. And so
The
it's like
joke's going to be on you when the post office goes down and
it's coming.
you've
It's
got
coming.
$5,000 worth of forever
I know
stamps.
it's like I've had these forever stamps
On
for
the
like
wrong thing.
I've had them for like 10 years. I'm like, does anybody want a letter? It's like, man, no thanks. Like, all
How
right.
many stamps did you buy?
Oh, when it came, I probably bought like 10 books of them. And I'm like, I'm gonna use this. Jokes on the post office. Then it's like, nope, jokes on me. All this, anything I send out, I can email. So it's like, I don't send bills out through the mail anymore. I do it all electronically. So, and I just started doing holiday cards again this past year. I wasn't doing them for a long time. So it's like, I didn't really have a use for it. Anything that would come in the mail that would require like a reply, a lot of times was postage paid. So,
Okay, so now admit it. You sent out the postcards again because number one, it was the pandemic, and
yes.
number two, you got 10-year-old forever stamps.
Oh, I'm not denying it. I'm admitting it very much. So it's like, I got to get rid of these stamps.
And you bought them 10 years ago on April 1st. And the government was like, April Fool's Day.
Joke's on you, dude. Mickey, how did you start improvising? What got you to take your first class?
So I never make New Year's resolutions since I've been an adult. And I got a guy that I was going out with asked me naively, didn't realize how cynical I was, on the night before, on New Year's Eve, was I going to make resolutions the next day? And I was like, resolutions? He goes, well, I'm making them. And he was like telling me what they were going to be. I've got resolutions. And I'm like, and the next day I go, that was kind of mean. I could think about a resolution just, to in memory of him. So my resolution was that
Wait, did he die that night?
No.
You're like in memory of him.
There's something. No, but I just mean, like I've forgotten his name, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was like not particularly significant, but I felt like I'd been so like dismissive, and it didn't feel right. So I made this resolution. The resolution is really good. And the resolution was that I would do something new every month of that year, something I'd never done before.
Wow, that's cool.
And it opened up my life. I mean, I've been doing it ever since. It's been, oh gosh, I think it's been like 10 years. So so every month I do something I've never done before. But when I started,
are you still doing that?
yeah, because it's like addictive. If you think about it, you know, like it can be small victories. They don't have to be huge. But that particular one was, the first one was living social. I didn't know what living social was. And I was driving to work and they had an ad on the radio about living social, the app or the website or the whatever. And so I was going, well, I can remember living social. And then there was a special in that area. I lived in Tallahassee, Florida at that point. And that if you went to Living Social and got the deal, it was a 6-week or 8-week improv class, beginning improv class, and you got it for 50% off.
No.
So I got Living Social, and that was my January. And my February was that I took this class. And honestly, we played, it was very competitive, right? I mean, it was games, it was like wordplay and stuff like that. And number one, I was like good at it. And number two, I laughed, you know, oh my God, it was so addictive. I laughed and I was like so serious, and I was like hooked with it, you know, I mean, and I guess the reason why I won a lot in the, you know, and it's just a get over on somebody thing, right? It's not, but like if you're doing a game where you're trying to make someone laugh, you know, and you're the last one standing, and you can pull in stuff that has anything to do with gynecology. People, yeah. So I was good at that because I could throw in all kinds of stuff. And
well, what do you do? What's your profession?
Well, that was the thing, is like I'm an OBGYN, so it was easy for me. And not only that, but I talk about this stuff all the time, so it's like nothing to me, right? Like you could say it to me and I would be, but if I just flip something in there about gonorrhea,
then they're like, what?
And then they break, you know. So, and there's so many of those things that I could come up with. So I usually relied on my you know, OBGYN.
Finally, your medical degree comes in handy.
That's right. Made people laugh, made me win. But anyway, that was sort of the beginning of it, you know, it's just playing with those people. But what I realized, I did it for, I don't know, 6 months or so, and then it sort of maxed out because Tallahassee didn't really have like a lot of improv. And what I learned at the end was the way we played was really, really fun, but it was highly competitive. And our last class, we were supposed to work together in teams to get the elements of a Shakespearean play. And then the game we were going to do for our final show was layer on top of that a genre.
Yep.
We didn't know how to work together.
Oh, God.
We couldn't decide on the key elements of Hamlet.
Oh my God. Oh, no.
People were like so angry with each other because, you know, like, and I'm like, I'm not sure that and then I go and I take other improv other places and it's all about supporting each other and everything. I go, oh my gosh.
You're like, this would have made it easier.
That's so nice. We would have been able to do it if somebody taught us that that's what we ought.
I mean, isn't that funny of like, even in those competition like formats, which like a theater sports or a comedy sports, it's like, but you understand that is part of the show. It's not what the show is. It's like, no, this is part of the show. Is we have this fake competition, but really it's about making the show look good. But it takes, if you aren't explained that, if you don't understand that, it becomes definitely and I could see that where you play those line games where it's like you're doing puns or something like that. It's like, yeah, your job is to go out there by yourself and get it. But like pulling back and going, oh, no, it could be, we can include that as well as the ensemble thing.
Yeah, and we had no clue, and by that time, I think everybody was. I'm not sure the teacher had any more time to do anything else, but I think
Ah,
after trying to determine the plot points of, and I don't think our group was the only group. I think people were sort of like, okay, that's enough for now. We're not going to go to level 4.
all right, we're good. No, we're done. We're done. Uh, and now you've created kind of a beast of its own.
I would say, yeah, I
It,
would say, yeah, like unexpectedly, the little festival
well, I mean,
people, uh, is like yeah. So to the point where I, because of the pandemic, like initially, like you were going to come and Dave Rosowski were going to come to our on-site festival, and then the pandemic came, and right around this time, like a
yeah,
year ago yesterday, I was like, if we're going to have a festival, it's going to have to be virtual. I didn't know what a virtual festival was. I just knew that was the only way it was going to happen.
there
Right. And then I
weren't
got,
any. There
yeah, no,
weren't
there
any.
weren't. Or there were two. There were actually, turns out there were two that were scheduled for in that 2-week period from the time that Voldemort said that we couldn't have people come into the country.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
and and there were two that were getting ready to go.
Right.
And one was a women's festival for from
Was it San Francisco?
theater sports, comedy sports. Was
Oh,
a, and so they modified to do some stuff online. And then there was one that was, I think, in oh, I don't even know where they are, but there was another one that they kind of did the same thing. They modified, they didn't have their regular festival. And then there was the improv festival online that started right away in Europe. And that's actually who I started getting in touch with. So I asked you and David if you would teach the classes, and you were like, absolutely, like I asked a bunch of people that were like mad, right? They were mad at me, but they were mad at it, and they were like, no way, no way, I'm not going to get back in the theater.
which I
And
mean, that's fine for them, but I'm also like, what an opportunity. Why wouldn't we say yes? Why aren't we leading the way and going, yeah, let's figure this out together instead of like, no way. I just never got it.
so I was like, it was pretty clear then. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was pretty clear that the people that were excited about doing it were the people that I should draw from.
Totally.
And
Totally.
and so what happened was, in the testing out of it for the first 6 weeks and trying to figure out what to do, I started setting up some classes, and I was going to stop in June.
Nope.
Get ready for that. And people were like, "Oh, please don't stop. You're like our lifeline." And I'm so stupid. I'm
No,
like, lifeline?
I'm so stupid.
Really? This is like this is like. And then I thought, well, hell yes, it's important to people,
Yeah.
because especially this demographic, like,
Well,
the most at risk.
well, we haven't even said what it is. Like it's the Vintage Improv Festival. There's a
Oh,
new term that's like, which I love, which is 50 years and over. You're now a vintage improviser. And I was like,
yeah,
that's a perfect terminology for it. And it was what started off as this kind of opportunity to give yourself and other people you knew a chance to play, because there is an element of ageism that happens in improv. And definitely when you look around the class, it's cool to see people you connect with, but you're like, wow, there's a lot of people that are young, and if I go on and I make a reference to something and it's not picked up, it's like, oh, I wish it was, but it's just an age thing. And now you've really made a space where also it's things like, hey, I don't always want to be the dad or grandpa on a scene. I want to play a
right,
kid. I don't know. I want to be able to do things. And when you're older and you're in an improv group, you're always like high status. You're put in those positions of like being a parent or a grandparent. It's like, no, I want to play the kid as well. So this, what started as that festival has now turned into how, I mean, there are so many classes from so many just brilliant people from
amazing,
around the world who are
amazing.
taking it, leading it. I mean, it's turned into this huge thing that is just given such energy to so many people. It's amazing.
It's on like 300 plus classes right now.
Gee, what? Come on. I mean, are you Joe? That is, and then it's like you and Judy Weatherbee are like kind of bearing a lot of the load of this. And it's like, it's so fun to hear you talk about, because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, guess what? Nobody knows what they're doing. You're just
Yeah,
doing, and
yeah.
that's the best part of this. So it's
And
amazing what you've
yeah,
done.
and the festival, when it came time for like August, nobody was signing up for the festival. And I'm like, wait, guys, that's the whole purpose of this. You know, this is like the purpose. And they sort of were like not understanding it.
Yeah.
And I had to get heavy about like, I need for you to be in the festival. That's why I've done all this work.
Yeah.
So anyway, it turns out there were like 100+ people. And, you know, we had like 6 simultaneous shows going on Sunday night, you know, 6 theaters,
Crazy.
virtual theaters. And it was like really, it was really, really fun. And you know, it's all a house of cards because it's all digital, but it worked. So I'm gonna do it again in September, maybe make it a little bit longer this time, just to be more exploratory. And next year I get it, you know, and there'll be some models like to have it be hybrid.
Yeah.
On site and yeah.
And I think it's like,
but yeah, no, I think that it is a lot of work, but I got to meet so many amazing people, and the opportunity, like, I mean, I've been, I want, like, because what, the year before I met you in at CT Theater, and I thought, oh my God, this is like the most positive improviser that I have ever met. And so then it's like, I need to, you know, suck up's not the right word. I need to absorb. I need to absorb that, you know, that positivity, because I tend to just be, you know, I mean, my parents are Dutch Reformed people, and they're very negative about the world and believe in predestination. And so I tend to, I think, just start with things, you know, that seem normal to be negative. And so this last year, you know, like getting to work, I mean, because we've been doing something for a year now, right? And I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't think I was being negative in that scene. I mean, so underlying part of my thing is, how can I make it be, you know, so that it's not a negative thing, and that's due to your influence, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And I know you have fun moments with Liz Allen, who's she and I were in a group years ago, and she has the same kind of mentality, which is like, yeah, I don't know, like you can make those choices in scenes. It just makes it harder. But at this point, I don't really care. So if like somebody wants to make a choice in a scene, whatever, I'm still going to have fun with it. And I think it, like, just repetition of doing scenes enough gets you to that point where you're like, oh, okay. And I feel like what you've been doing is you've been utilizing this online platform so much, and you have so much experience now doing virtual improv, more than a lot of people, because of how many of rehearsals or shows you've been doing. And you continue to do that with this Follies, which are on Sunday nights, which is another opportunity that you're creating for people to be like, hey, come bring your group in and play. And it's so needed. Like this is so needed in our world right now.
And I think it'll be interesting what happens when people start going back to, you know, theaters, whether how much of this will translate back, or, you know, and I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure, but so I really want to work sort of like the next phase of what I want to continue doing what we're doing, but I also want to create a curriculum that's going to arm people that have become very skilled in doing things virtually, and to give them ways to maintain their confidence and get their, I don't know if it's possible, but like to get their stage time. In, you know, part of me believes anything that you think about in that way, you can figure out a way to make it happen, right?
Always.
And so I don't know what that way is yet, but that's kind of like what I'm working on right now. I mean, people have so everybody has ideas of the way that they already do that, right? But I'm thinking like it's like one of the things is, well, you could have a theater that does X, Y, and Z, but then that's dependent on the theater and the theater's management, right? Which is great, and I hope that I hope it happens, and I'm sure it will in places, but it's not going to happen everywhere. There have to be things that you can proactively, as an improviser, do that may not be exactly what was done before. You know, like I'm thinking, I don't know this, you know, but like I'm thinking, you know how you go, well, it's fine to cut, it's fine to edit, and then if that seems a good scene, it can come back later. I think if you're confident and you go, that was a good scene, and they ended it early because they were so anxious to get on stage, maybe you can just bring your scene back.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe you don't have to wait till it's bigger and better. Maybe you just go, okay, we had a commercial break.
And now we're back. Yes. And the great thing is, Miki, there's no blueprint for this. Whereas with other theaters, it was always kind of like, well, we're doing our theater this way because theater X did it this way. Like it was always kind of similar. Here, it's like, it's a land of exploration. So it's like, I don't know, let's try it. And if you look at, in the terms of like when there's like a sketch review, like a Second City sketch comedy style review, there are these things called runners, which are something happens and then there's a couple scenes and then something comes and then it comes back again and comes, and it always goes like you do it, then there's a few scenes, then you do it again, then there's like maybe one scene and then it comes back again. So it comes back quicker towards the end. So I think it is something where it could just be like a runner. You pop in with something real quick and then revisit it. So, I mean, that's the exciting part is there's no theater you have to get approval from anymore. You don't have to pitch a show. You don't have to sell out the theaters. Like, oh, turn on the camera, find people who like dig the style you play, and then try stuff out and see what works and then keep building on what works rather than what doesn't work. Like what doesn't work is great. Like, get rid of it. Thank you for trying it, but what worked that we can continue to build on, and that's how you develop and move.
And I think, you know, like not having, well, you've got like film and, you know, TV experience. So you're much more aware of this two-dimensional medium than I think that many people are. And so just what you can do in that space, in this space, is a whole realm of possibilities. And you know, like I took a Meisner class the other day, and
your shirt is black.
Huh?
Your shirt is black. Your shirt is black.
Yes, my shirt is black.
That's right. Yes, that repetition. I love Meisner.
But the instructor showed just only on screen were cards playing a solitaire game.
Yes.
So that the things, you don't have to be on the screen, that it has a lot of meaning in the things that you do that aren't necessarily said, and that are very visual in ways that are unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably not, like if you were making a movie, that might be a perfectly valid scene that fits into the whatever, but I mean, on stage in real life, you wouldn't get that same effect. And that was like, oh my God, there's a whole lot of other possibilities of that I hadn't even thought about, that I think would be fun to explore.
I think the first year was kind of like, how do we survive this ride? And okay, let's like the transition from like, oh wait, what if we stand up? Like that was a big transition in like March and April. It's like, what if we don't sit down? And people are like, wow. And now it's like, oh, what about the camera angles and costumes? It's like, okay, cool. Now what if we just isolate different parts? So I think this next year, the next 12 months will be a lot of that. You'll see a lot more exploration. You'll see a lot of changing of backgrounds or camera angles or taking it outside, being like, I'm going to go for a walk, and then taking your computer and going. I think that's the next evolution of this as people start to get more comfortable with it. And honestly, want to complicate it, because humans like to complicate things. So it's like, well, let's add some complication to it. So I'm very excited as to see where it goes from here.
So we pitched this idea, my vintage troupe in Boston, for GoPro, and you get those vests and the GoPro cameras,
Yes.
stuff, and you'd be like, so we got the money. We had like a, what do you call those projects?
Like a GoFundMe?
Yeah, to get the cameras and the vests and stuff for us, but we couldn't get them to take us seriously. I think they thought we were too old to use GoPros or something like that. So
What?
I see, folks, the future. I read the future. In the next 12 months, there's going to be GoPro.
Oh, yes, for sure. Oh, and in fact, I'm going to steal your idea. I'm going to claim it's my own, and then I'll make all the money from it. I mean, that's how it works in improv theaters. Miki, where can people, if they want to like check out shows you're doing or like find out more information or follow you on social media, like what's the best way they can do that?
So our website is www.vintageimprov.org, and it mirrors our Facebook group. The Facebook group is Vintage Improv Festival Community. And anybody that is interested in hanging around people 50 and over, regardless of how old they are, is welcome to participate in our community, because we work for the day when there's no need for the community, because age is not a separation. And that the only thing that we might want to have it for is so that we can use our terms, our language, our shared body of knowledge that's from 50 years ago. No, I mean, but not because, not because of any other ism reason, right? Just for fun. So we love it when, we've had people in their 20s, and we had someone in their teens come to the New Year's celebration thing that we had. Yeah. So, that was probably our youngest, but we regularly have people in their 20s and 30s and 40s that take classes with us, and they're in a majority class of 50 and over, which is a flip, right?
That's such a flip.
And they fit in fine. And they've decided they want to be with us, right? I mean, it's like they made a choice to be with us, and we're like thrilled.
That's, man, it's so great. Well, thank you. I mean, it's such a, we talk about karma police as our suggestion. It is such a karma thing of like, where, be careful, it's going to come back and get you. But this came back in a positive way. A lot of times karma isn't just a negative thing, it's a positive thing. So thank you for taking time out, Miki. And whether it's virtual, in person, whatever it is, I always love playing with you. So I can't wait to do it again. Thank you.
Jay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.